Now, Chanel, I know that you have commented on my content before on femininity, things that I've talked about in terms of embracing yourself as a woman. What have you experienced in your femininity journey? Is that something that you have leaned towards recently? Is it something that you think about? Is it something that impacts your life, your femininity as a woman?
It has. Like, I didn't realize how important it was. You kind of just carry on just doing whatever and being whoever, but who are you? And I think going on like discovering this femininity journey, I would call it, has really made me see who I am and who I'm comfortable with being.
Mhm.
There's been a huge part of my life where, there was a point where I was a single mother, and you automatically take that leadership role and you become like head of the household, obviously looking after the kids, etc. At the time I had one son.
Mhm.
And I kind of lost my feminine grace, I feel, and I didn't even realize the importance of having it. As as a mother, I want to be that nurturing, loving mother. And if I've lost my femininity, how do I become her? So when I discovered your channel and a few other channels that I've seen, like Karina Lude,
Yes.
it's really made me kind of say, this is really look deep into myself and realize that this is who I'm kind of fighting to get back to being, because I've always been a feminine girly girl with Barbie dolls
Yeah.
and all of that. But when life hits you
Mhm.
and becomes real, I wouldn't say I've been completely masculine, but you just become so assertive, so serious, so you know strong. It's nice to have strength, but what kind of strength? And I had to really assess that with myself, and discovering that part of where I need to be has been very, very, very important to me. And obviously, your channel's been a massive, massive help for me in that journey.
Oh, thank God. You're right. As a mother, even if you're not a single mother, but especially when you're a single mother and you have
Yeah,
to play both roles, it can be challenging to stay in your femininity.
yeah,
And nurturing is so important for your child to be able to see you as a safe space and to be able to just like transmit that love into your baby, into
absolutely.
your child. And so a lot of women don't realize how important it is to be in their feminine as a mother and struggle with being a nurturing woman,
Hmm.
especially after life's hardships. So, in your life, what are some ways that you honor your femininity as a mother and just as Chanel?
So I think when I started therapy last year, it kind of did pull out all of the, I wouldn't say the odd things about myself, but the things that I wasn't quite comfortable with.
Can you give me
And
an example of one of the things that you weren't comfortable with?
how angry I could be sometimes, how assertive I could be sometimes, how bossy I could be sometimes.
Mhm.
I didn't think that that's appropriate to put on my children, you know. And so when I realized that these are the discoveries, like through past trauma that were affecting my life, I started to address that. So if I really wanted to start working on my emotions, because anger potentially was quite a thing that was affecting me, and I didn't actually realize. Like, I just would get, like, if a situation happened, it would make me upset, and I would really tap into it and I would stay there. And I don't think that's necessarily quite feminine. And it's not to say, as a feminine woman, you can't have an emotion,
Of
or
course.
you can't get angry or upset. Absolutely. But how? And me realizing how I'm gonna, I guess, react to a situation is
Mhm.
the thing that I really wanted to tap into and really work on.
That's beautiful because you're right. As a feminine woman, it's actually the opposite. You honor your emotions as a feminine woman. It's
Right.
actually more masculine to keep it in and to pretend
Yes.
like you don't have them. But when you are honoring your emotions, there's a way that you're able to process it and just be in tune with how you're behaving, how it's affecting other people, and just how you feel. Because if you were dealing with anger, it came from a wound. It came from something.
Yeah.
Like you said, there was trauma. There was something that needed to be addressed. And it's just a side effect of that trauma. for you to lash out or to be that way. And sometimes as a mom, especially having boy,
Yeah. Oh,
you're like
two of
chasing
them.
two of them, right? You're chasing them, you're yelling, you're just trying to keep the order. And it's like if you're not paying attention, you will be yelling all day long, or you
Yeah,
will be in that mode all day long. It's like bringing yourself back down.
absolutely. And also, it's not even just in, my motherhood where I discovered a few things that was like, I think I just need to, I'm used to doing everything for myself.
Why is that?
I don't know. I think, again, it's from the single motherhood period where it's like, okay, I need to organize this, or I need to do this, or this is what needs to be done. So when someone's even offering a gesture to help me, it's like, no, I've got it. I don't want that support. And I want to say it's a turn off, but it's kind of like it didn't. I need to be more open to people wanting to support me. I think it was very important because a masculine man, for the most part, normally takes the leadership role, isn't it, in a household, perhaps,
Absolutely.
in a marriage, perhaps, which is lovely. Not to say the woman should be in the corner somewhere in the kitchen just doing that, unless that's who you want to be, that's fine. But that tends to be the position of a man. But I was like, I would say, because obviously I'm working and changing all of that. But I was like, I've got it. I would pay for it. I would drive us there. That is a lot of what I was doing, which again, it's just constantly putting me in a masculine role to be a leader, to be not necessarily controlling, because I'm very mindful of that. I don't want to control anyone else's life or people around me who are genuinely showing me love, but to be open to someone else taking leadership or taking the wheel for the most part. Yeah.
But you know what? It does sound like an issue with control. Even though you may not be trying to control them, you're trying to control your life. You're trying to
Yes.
control what comes in, what goes out. And it's a little bit deeper than you probably realize, but it really does come down to trust, control, and self-image, your feelings about yourself and what you think you're worthy of, what you think other people may bring with their help and with their advice and with, even having someone else drive. Like you said, I'll drive. I usually don't like my husband driving. I mean, I will let him drive because he's gonna drive. But the whole time I'm like, no, no, like I'm turning around and
Yeah,
I'm
it's a
trying
bit
to.
of an anxiety thing. I think as
Right.
well in my discovery is
Hmm.
I still do kind of have a bit of anxiety, if I'm being honest, but I think it was a lot of just being anxious
Hmm.
of something going wrong, because I'm just always used to being on my own, taking care of things and doing a good job of it.
Right.
And so when you're good at what you're
Hmm.
doing, like where's the room for someone else to come in? But I'm opening up for a lot of things. I want to learn from other people. I want to hear something I've never heard before. And this is where even your channel and various other female femininity channels has been helpful to me, because sometimes you don't stop to listen. You keep on going thinking that you know it all and, oh, this is me and I'm fine. But then someone would say something, are you sure you're okay with that? Are you happy?
That's right.
And I think that's it as well. For the most part, I actually wasn't happy with constantly having to take or being in a boss babe mode, and especially my career and what we do is kind of like constant,
It's constant.
and you're forever kind of like, right, let's put it on my desk, what we got today. I mean it's important to have that to run the business,
Hmm.
but are you bringing that home too?
Yes.
I don't want to bring that home to my family, to pick up that driving boss babe woman vibe in my home, where we should have constant love and constant nurturing and constant good energy and vibes.
And you don't want to bring it home to yourself either, because People who have this sort of lifestyle, it's hard for them to sleep. It's hard for them to relax. It's hard
Yeah.
for them to take care of themselves. It's hard for them to do things for
Mhm.
themselves. They feel guilty. They feel like they're not busy, so they're useless, and it's not good for you either. This video is sponsored by myself and my luxury fragrance line, Fine Forever Fragrances. We have 3 very elegant, feminine, and unique fragrances that you would love. 2911 is our debut fragrance, which is a perfect feminine everyday, daytime, or date night fragrance. It exudes mystery, elegance, and warmth. Silent Storm is another fragrance that we have, and that fragrance is a decadent gourmand fragrance. It's rich, it's smooth, it's refined, and it has notes of sea salt, caramel, and it gives off an alluring and captivating impression when you wear it. And our final fragrance, Mustard Seed, is a sweet aquatic floral with pineapple, jasmine, and musk. It's perfect for brunch with the girls or basking in the sunshine. It is a sophisticated and memorable fragrance. So, if you love to be the best smelling woman in the room, then you have to have these in your fragrance collection. Visit fineforever.com and use the code Dr. Daff for 10% off of your fragrances to support this show. Thank you. So, you talked about reinventing yourself, and you've reinvented yourself in a lot of ways. Tell us a little bit about how you have reinvented yourself as a person, physically,
Yeah.
emotionally, in all ways.
I would say a huge part of my reinvention is, I mean, the obvious, my weight loss.
So tell us about your weight loss journey.
My weight loss journey has been the best thing I've ever done for myself. I had weight loss surgery, the gastric bypass, and I've lost a total of 12 stones, which is like 160 pounds, I believe.
Wow.
I went from a size UK size
Okay.
28. I'm not sure of the conversion to now UK size 14 in a year and some change.
Wow.
I'm still reducing. I love my lifestyle because I eat whatever.
What do you mean you eat?
I eat as in I eat whatever, but I get full quickly.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So
Okay.
you know, as in I eat everything. And that I love to eat. I love a good. I love a good meal.
Yeah.
But it's all portions,
Okay.
small, and I just feel so light. I
Mhm.
feel so energetic. It's nice to just feel free. A lot of the weight I was carrying wasn't even just physical weight, it was spiritual weight. That's why I couldn't even pray. I remember like Suzanne, who's here, always used to say, Chanel, are you praying? Chanel, are you praying? For a long time, I was like, oh, I probably am not. But now I'm praying so much more. I don't even know. I feel like the weight I was carrying was also a spiritual weight. And it was also obviously a physical weight. And when I started to get lighter in my body, then I started to feel free. It's supernatural. I can't even explain. But that process is really, the whole process of weight loss is really shedding all that weight, has taken a lot of weight off my shoulders, literally. And I think the whole weight loss thing, of course, you can see the physical, but it's way more than that. I just can't explain it.
Was weight something that you've struggled with your entire life?
Entire life.
Okay.
Entire life.
And
I've
was
been
it
bullied for it? And, even some would say, that certain, I would never like find a husband and stuff because of my weight and stuff, which I don't believe. I think confidence and knowing who you are, no matter your size, is what's going to get you the right life partner, so to speak.
But did that impact you when you met your husband in terms of like
my husband, I was a lot smaller.
You were smaller. Okay.
I was bigger than this, but I wasn't as big as I had gotten.
I see. But it's a mental thing, right? Especially being
Yes.
bullied and all of that. Even if you're a certain size, you may still not think that you're still worthy, right?
Yeah.
Did that
Absolutely.
impact you at all?
Absolutely. And I mean, for me, I did work on my confidence to the best that I could. And it's actually inspired millions, actually, when we're talking about my plus size fashion journey and people just being inspired to try out new things and dress differently and just that's been a huge part. But if I'm being completely honest, and I don't mean to kind of step out of the plus size realm, but I feel better now. I feel much better now. I'm still plus size if we're talking about, you know, the fashion world. I'm still
Yeah.
considered plus size or whatever. But I guess I'm a petite plus size now, whatever. But I know I feel much better now than I did when I was at my heaviest. There was a lot I was carrying.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Was it something that you had planned to do before? Okay,
Yes.
so this is something you've been talking about and thinking about and planning for a while.
Absolutely. And I did
Okay.
share it with my subscribers. Yes, you guys see me confident and happy and working with what I have,
Mhm. Mhm.
with, you know, my fashion choices, etc. But I will consider weight loss surgery. I've never undermined
Mhm.
anyone who wants to work on their selves, and that's exactly what I intended to do.
But what was the final decision factor for going through with the surgery? Was it because you weren't losing it the way you wanted to, or what was the driving force behind going to surgery?
I've always wanted to feel lighter and feel smaller, because if you look at my structure, I mean, when I walked in, you're like, oh my God, you're tiny. I'm
Yeah,
actually really little. People
you're
don't
so
realize.
tiny. I
People
was
think I'm
not
so tall.
expecting that.
I don't know why everyone says that. Oh my God, I thought you was like tall.
Tall.
And
I
they
thought you
see
were
me, I'm like
tall.
5'3". I think I'm even smaller now since losing the weight. So frame wise, I was feeling very stocky, if I'm being honest. I was feeling
Okay.
very stocky and just uncomfortable,
Okay.
and I wanted to tap into that, and I was having issues with consistently, you know, eating healthy and
Mhm.
sticking to a healthy, you know, exercise or whatever. I've always gone on all these different diets and all these different weight loss methods and failed at it.
Mhm.
And a relative of mine did the surgery as well over 10 years ago, and it's changed her life. And
Okay.
they done it because of medical reasons,
Okay.
diabetes. I
Mhm.
thank God didn't have that issue, but I mean, the rate I was going, who knows what could have happened as well. So that again was another factor. And then as well, my children.
Mhm.
I went one time. I took my little boy to Legoland, and oh, this I'll never forget that day. There was a ride he wanted to go on, and you had to go with a parent. And I looked at the ride, and I was like, "We can't go. I can't fit on that ride." It was devastating. He was crying like, "Mummy," because his friend went on it with his mum, and even my friend. Thank God she's not a judgmental, awful person. It's like, Shan, come, let's do this. I was like, Mickey, I can't. I'm not going to go on the ride. I don't want to embarrass myself. And my little boy was crying. I was like, I can't have this. I want to take my little boys and rides and run around the park with them. So my children as well was a big factor as to why I needed to lose the weight and be there for them and live long for them and all of that, you know?
Absolutely. Wow. Yeah, that's something a lot of people don't think about, all
Yeah.
the different things that your weight can affect,
Yeah.
especially, your children and how they see. Now, is it something that is also in your family? Like, does your sister also, or your mother, other people around
My,
you struggle with the weight?
we are a big girl family.
Okay. Okay. So some
My
of it is
mum
just
was a
genetic.
big lady. She's lost weight. My mum, my grandma was a big woman. Well,
Mhm.
she's rest in peace, grandma. Grandma was a big woman. My mum, her sister, my sister.
Mhm.
It's on my mum's side.